What's up, guys? I'm here back for another regional predictions video. And for today's, we have the Auburn regional that consists of Auburn, UCF, NC State, and Milwaukee. This is a pretty stacked regional. I'm really excited to get into it. A lot of teams that have shown a lot of potential. NC State just made the tournament. UCF's been pretty interesting in the Big 12, and obviously Auburn's been really dominant in the SEC. There's so much to talk about in this conference. Let's get straight into it. So I'm going to start here with Auburn, a team that was kind of in Georgia's shadow when it comes to the top of the SEC, but a team that did really well. They actually just played Georgia last weekend, and unfortunately they lost, but it was pretty cool. There's a lot of cool faces in the Auburn crowd, and Auburn didn't play terrible throughout the entire series. When it comes to how they've done throughout the year, they beat Mississippi State in a series, beat Texas A&M, they beat Florida, they beat Arkansas. Pretty good stuff. They beat a lot of kind of the mid top tier pack of the SEC, with some of those teams even hosting a regional. But they did end up losing the series to Florida, which is a bit unfortunate and shows that they're definitely not able to just beat, or well, while they can beat any team, they can also kind of lose to some of these teams that aren't, at or super close to their level. Now, Auburn, obviously, they've had a great season, and their roster is unbelievable as well. They're led by Chase Freilich, who's had a great season. And then they also have a really interesting pitching duo in Andreas Alvarez and Jake Marciano, who both have 100 strikeouts this year. To have two pitchers with 100 strikeouts in the same year, pretty unbelievable. And I don't know if they're the only team in the tournament to have that, but there's certainly a chance that they are. Now, next up is going to be the UCF Knights, a team that ended up going 31 and 21 in their overall play, as well as 19 and 11 in the Big 12. Pretty solid team. They ended up getting some pretty solid series wins. They ended up beating West Virginia, who's obviously a top team, almost won the Big 12. They beat Oklahoma State as well, who I believe is going to be a two seed in this tournament. And overall, I mean, UCF's a pretty solid team. They have a pretty consistent offense. But the one kind of factor that showcased that they're maybe not a massively big team is the fact they lost to Oklahoma State in the first round of the tournament, despite beating them in the series, in the conference tournament, I'll add. So UCF, they're a great team for sure. They've showcased a lot, but when it comes to kind of their ceiling, they certainly haven't shown it, especially over the last couple of weeks. When it comes to the roster, there's only one real standout, and that's John Smith III when it comes to hitting. He's done a great job for them this season, been a good leader, but other than that, they don't have a ton to show. Now, NC State just made the national tournament by the skin of their teeth. They went 32 and 22 overall, 14 and 16 in the ACC. But they had a pretty good year when you think about some of the teams that they played. They took down Boston College in a series, who's a pretty good team. They took down Miami as well. Both those teams are going to be two seeds in this tournament. Their only kind of bad loss, I guess, was to Wake Forest in a series, which isn't great, but I'm not going to pretend that like really, takes away from what they've accomplished this season. The only kind of big other thing is the fact they lost to Duke in the conference tournament. Duke was the worst team in the conference, number 16, or I think they're the worst team in the conference. Maybe they're the worst team to make the conference tournament. Regardless, Duke had a pretty poor season, but they ended up beating NC State, which is really unfortunate. That's why everyone wanted NC State out of the tournament, but regardless, they're going to make it in as the final team. Then Milwaukee kind of feels like the odd team out. Obviously, they're not a power conference team. They ended up going 25 and 31 overall, 14 and 10 in the conference. They had some sort of stability when it comes to the conference, but overall, they certainly didn't have a phenomenal year. They did win the conference tournament though, which got them in. When it comes to kind of their characteristics, they're very streaky. Like they win 8 games in a row, then lose 8 games in a row. It's like there's kind of no in between. And when it comes to them, it's just like they might be on fire this weekend. They might be absolutely terrible. And based on some of the teams that they have to face, I'm kind of leaning toward absolutely terrible. When it comes to their talent, they have Charlie Marion and Dylan O'Connell, who are both two pretty good hitters. They're good when it comes to contact, good when it comes to power, which matters a lot, certainly. But outside of those two, they don't have too many standouts. So when it comes to who's actually going to win the regional tournament, of course, I'm going to give it to Auburn. They're a great team. They've showcased a lot. And in second place, I'm going to go with UCF. While I do think NC State has provided some pop, I don't think it's enough to kind of push them over the edge. I think the Auburn has showcased so much this year, especially in the SEC, that it's too hard not to give it to them. So yeah, the Tigers are going to win the Auburn regional. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Auburn, who I think is going to win the regional this year. And I'm going to have a bunch more college baseball content coming out for you with regional predictions, so make sure to stay tuned.